Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins. Okay, so we got anti-Trudeau billboards land in Ontario. So, yes, it's election season here. We're a couple of weeks away. And we're pretty much approaching a year and a month, away for the American elections. So there's time in America for things to start turning around on the Democrat side. It's going to be very interesting what happens on that end of the pond, on that side of the border, or that side of the fence, or the wall. Anyways, anti-Trudeau billboards land in Ontario. So we can't afford 4 more years, authorized by the Canadian Growth Council, Inc., and broken promises, liberal scandals, tax hikes. But that's a politician. That's how it works. That's how we voted. What do you think we voted in the last 50 years? You know what I'm saying? Not every politician's honest, right? And not every, but this one's pretty. This situation, there's quite a bit, and it makes the great Nixon impeachment scandal look like a walk in the park. The Watergate scandal looked like a walk in the park. A billboard of critical Canadian billboard critical of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau along Cathra Road near Queensway East in Mississauga on Tuesday, August 7, 2019. Here it is. So there it is right there. A group that started with the goal of defeating Liberals in Western Canada has landed in Ontario. A Canada Growth Council, a free market advocacy group, has launched a series of billboards throughout Southern Ontario amid convincing voters not to vote for Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. Well, I don't know what you see here in the West. It's a little bit different. We have these pro-Hong Kong / pro-China protests, and people are giving out pro-liberal. The pro-China communism are giving out vote liberal in Canada. So you're getting a kind of a wish-wash from both sides of each from the different provinces, right? Would I hire this person that doesn't keep any promises and has 2 ethics violations? Spokesman Derek Robinson said of Trudeau. The group is running 2 different billboard messages at 38 locations in the GTA as well as Hamilton in the Niagara area. Firing strong woman, Trudeau must go. One reads. The billboard features a photo of Trudeau in the background with former cabinet minister Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott in front of him. Is there really? I don't see nobody in front of him there. Maybe it's this one. Nope. The second message simply shows Trudeau alone with a caption. Oh, there's several of them. Sorry. The second message simply shows Trudeau alone with a caption, "We can't afford 4 more years." The registered third party started their campaign, which includes digital ads and flyers mailed to homes in Regina to target one Liberal, Ralph Goodale. They currently have 10 billboards in that city, 10 in Winnipeg, 10 in Calgary, and 16 in Edmonton. Remember, we discussed the homeless crisis right now in Edmonton's out of control. The move into Ontario came about because so many Westerners feel that voters' votes won't matter if Ontario votes for Trudeau. So here it is here. This is from the Toronto Sun. No mass says no mass immigration vote. And we know that's obviously immigration. I'm an immigrant, so I'm just going to throw that out there to Canada. So my parents, my whole family, we're all immigrants to Canada. So I need to kind of address that so you guys know, right? Robson said in an interview what his message is simple. Trudeau has broken too many promises. He promised to lower taxes for the middle class, and that hasn't happened at all. He failed to keep a number of promises, from a balanced budget to the electoral reform, working with provinces on climate change. The list goes on, Robinson said. The billboards in Ontario target areas that went to the Liberals last election but could flip Conservative or NDP this time around. So, guys, you need to understand, this is the Liberal Party. This is it. This is what they voted in. People need to understand that, right? If you voted a Conservative Party the last time around, you wouldn't have this. It would be a completely different agenda, right? It'd probably be more targeted towards housing affordability or getting the middle class in housing, where liberal campaign is more about bringing in rich investors, right, and competing for rich investors, right? So it's a lucrative business, right? So that's what they're hoping to achieve with the mass immigration, right? I'm not more on the whole Africa side, immigrants coming to Canada. I'm more on the rich investors coming into Canada. That's pretty much buying out the Canadian proper, right? So, anyways, I wanted to throw this out there. Now, I think all of them need to address the opioid crisis that's basically killing our young Canadians. Just the amount of youth that has passed due to the opioid crisis on our streets. And then it goes hand in hand with the billions of dollars, the $200 billion dollars that were laundered through Canadian real estate, which was absolutely disastrous. Money laundering is a huge thing, and basically introducing foreign illegal into an economy of 30 million people at the tune of $200 billion is crippling. And then you have true affordability, right? The problem is, and this is the problem, and this is what the provinces can't control. If property prices do start declining even further, they're going to have to raise property taxes in tune to keep it balanced for the cities and the municipalities and the provinces to keep their budgets in check. So the middle class will ultimately have to pay for all this crap that's been happening in the last, I don't know, it's been happening since, I think, in my opinion, we started selling out Canada in 2012, and it's gotten worse from there. So things like that. We're not addressing these major issues. And one thing we're not addressing is the homeless issue that's becoming, turning into a pandemic around Canada. We're noticing this mass emergence of tent cities in the starting of winter, where temperatures are going to start getting cooler, and it's really tough. It is really tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. It's really tough to broadcast this, to see where Canada is headed. It's really scary. Affordability levels aren't there, and average wage earners cannot get into the housing market. That is destruction. If average wage earners and first-time homebuyers cannot get into the housing market and been left in the sidelines, you're going to see a generation gap of the next generation not getting in. The millennials can't get in, then you're going to get the next generation gap not being able to get in, and the next generation gap not be able to get in. It's going to become like New Zealand. It's going to become a nation of renters, where the Canadian proper no longer will have or control property in their own hands. So this is very scary, what's happening. So I think even Trudeau himself and all the others sing is about what's he boasting about? He's boasting about federalizing the pharmacare or pills and stuff, or pharmacare, and federalizing that is an absolute disaster. That will not work. It can't work. Yes, I would like Canadians to get their. Then they're going to find ways to cut back on people's medication or take them off medication once you federalize pharmaceutical drugs. The doctors will be pressured and saying, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. These people don't need these drugs anymore, so start cutting them off of it. That's what will happen, right? So I'm very scared of everything that's happening, guys. I need to kind of throw this out there for us to create discussion, Then you have the Green Party, and all they're talking about is obviously climate change, but everybody else is so far climate change. Climate does change people, but I think before we could fix climate change and throw money at things, look at Portugal. I keep saying, look at Portugal. Portugal went 5 days off grid with a country of about 10.5 million people. They went off grid for 5 days completely, beating Germany's 4 hours. They totally went off grid, and they actually spending whatever they're collecting in taxes. Well, you know how they're spending what tax money they have? They decriminalized and legalized drugs in Portugal, and making Portugal the only country on the planet where a couple of countries are like this, where drugs are a sickness, not a crime. They created dissuasion centers with the money they've collected, and those dissuasion centers led to no overdoses, basically. You could look it up. There's documentaries on it. Now, instead of doing that and with the money they made from it, they've created more infrastructure to go green and go independent, right? And they've created several garbage dumps, open pit garbage dumps, close them over, and create ethanol gases to power small cities in the areas. So they're doing the right thing. A country that's in the back burner that no one knows about, that no one even knows it exists, that basically ruled the world for many years, is basically doing its part. So no one's ever looking at Portugal. They just deport the Portuguese from Canada in mass numbers. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in your comments below. This is a big problem. We could have solved all these problems a long time ago, right? Canada should do what they did to the Portuguese. In Ontario, mass purging of families, almost 20 to 40,000 people sent back. People that have been in Canada 14, 15 years that own their homes free and clear were sent back. They were picked up at work in their work clothes and put on an airplane. Why doesn't Canada do that for all the illegals? It's just not against the Portuguese. Maybe start doing it, and you've done it before, Canada. You've done it, and you've picked up children at school and kept them in the gymnasium until parents came in with paperwork and then taking their children and then putting them on an airplane. And I remember the president of Portugal addressing the Prime Minister of Canada, asking them to at least go home and pack a bag because people arrive in Portugal with them. So this happened in 2006, people, 7 and 8. So we need to, Canada has the power to do that. So why aren't they doing it to anyone else but the Portuguese? It doesn't make sense. I bring this up because this is proof. The reason why they're not coming here to shoot me at my house or take me away in handcuffs is because this actually happened. I'm not making this up. So there's a lot going on that Canada could do to fix these problems, but I don't understand why we're not, and why we're taxed to a point where we're taxed to a point of no return. So I hope you guys could share this video and get this out there. My videos have been shadow banned, so if you guys could get this out there, I'd appreciate it very much. Thanks for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.